All righty. I want to say good afternoon, relatives near and far. Before we get going here, I want to make a note that to our viewers, if you look at the top right, you'll see the view. And if you go to side by side and click the speaker, you will have the opportunity to see the views as equally as you want. You click on that, and then you'll see the bar right in the middle between the slideshow and then our presenter. And you click and you hold that bar and you slide it to the left, to the right. You can adjust it according to your comfort. So we'll go from there. So those are just some of the settings there. And also the Q&A will be geared towards the end of our episode here. So keep that in mind. We will answer our presenter will answer some of the questions right at the end. So, all right, without further ado, all right, once again, good afternoon, relatives near and far. Welcome to our Great Plains Good Health and Wellness Community Health webinar series. We're the Great Plains Tribal Health Board, formerly known as the Great Plains Tribal Leaders Health Board, and we are located in Rapid City, South Dakota. And I will be your host to give you the intro. My name is Everett Baxter Jr., along with our crew, starting with our Commander-in-Chief, Ms. Shannon Udi, and we have on site Mr. Tristan Dolphus. And in this episode, titled Healing in a Cup, we explore the traditional teas for the cold and flu seasons, presented by Malai Suksavath. With that being said, please help me welcome yet again Malai Suksavath. Malai, how's it going?
Going good. Thank you, Everett. Hamidakiapi, Chantewashten Bechuza. My name is Malai Suksavath. I am from the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. I grew up in Cherry Creek, South Dakota, and Eagle Butte, South Dakota. I am a graduate of Cheyenne Eagle Butte, so probably the best high school, one of the best res high schools. Yeah.
All right.
I was actually born in Rosebud, South Dakota. For whatever reason, my parents had me in Rosebud. I don't know. I think it was a snowstorm. It was in January or something. So that's pretty interesting. One of my passions is culinary wellness. This journey came from basically like a survival thing growing up. A lot of the foods that my family and I cook, and a lot of the foods that we prepare, we butcher, everything actually came from like the Cherry Creek area with our grandmas and grandpas there too. So before we get started, I'm just gonna open up in a good way. We always try to, when we have these medicines around, we just want to open up in a good way. So we want to make sure that we say our prayers and everything. Antakashila adewa kantanka. Na uchima ka na tate dopa. Wopila tanka ambetukile. Lena mituenishni na midagnishni. Asha wochek energy. Naha. Hechana unspe michicha cha. Ushimalaya tunkashila. Lena dona wachpe. Uyankupi tunkashila. Wopila tanka. Na wachpe kalyapi ki lekuja ki apri wichayekta cha wakava tunkashila. Na hawa okie na wichozani wichaku. Yeah, tunkashila. Creator, I thank you for today, and I thank you for watching over all those that are watching today. Please watch over their families, tunkashila. Those that are sick, those in pain, those whose spirits are tired, tunkashila. Watch over them. Whatever they want or can't pray for, Tunkashila, I am praying for today. I thank you for these medicines and that you've provided so abundantly for us, Tunkashila. Watch over us and bless the herbs and the hands that will be preparing these medicines. Thank you. We're just going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for tuning in. The next slide is the disclaimer. I am going to read off the disclaimer real quick. This presentation is intended for educational and community wellness purposes. The content shared reflects traditional knowledge, cultural practices, and personal experiences related to food, healing, and recovery. It is not a substitute for medical or clinical advice. Participants are encouraged to consult with healthcare professionals for individualized treatment and support. All right, we can go ahead and go on to the next slide. So this webinar shares my own self-taught methods along with a lot of things that I picked up along the way. From gathering medicines like Cheaka, a lot of our echinacea and echinacea roots and flowers, you know, things like that that we find on the prairie. A lot of that is just my own self-taught methods and preparation of medicinal teas. There are countless other ways of healing. Like we all know that there's a lot more complex recipes and different ways of preparing traditional teas. There's a lot more different approaches to it. However, mine is more just something that I came up with over the years, something that I give my family, something I give my kids. So just letting you know, a lot of this stuff is a little more approachable too. What I mean by that is that it is affordable and you'll be able to find it in local grocery stores or maybe even some local harvesters in your area. I know like stores like LTM might have a few of these teas on hand, maybe not the way this is set up, but they may have a lot of commercialized products. Okay, next slide. So today we're going to be talking about 3 unique blends of teas: an antioxidant support, an immune support, and an immediate support. So the antioxidant is about the free radicals and everything that we want to make sure that we are taking in those antioxidants, especially whenever we need the vitamin C. We want to support our immune health. This is just something that you can drink every day because we should be living like this. And I always tell people this, that when we get sick, we tend to run for every medicinal tea, right? We run for everything, but we have to live like this. We have to make sure that we're always drinking the stuff that's safe to drink every day, stuff that we can consume a lot more of. So the antioxidant blend is one of them. The immune support is one of them, but the immediate support is the one that you want whenever you're sick right now. Okay, next slide. Okay, so some of the herbs that we're going to be going over and using is echinacea, purpurea, and echinacea angustifolia. The first one, that is for immune support. The first echinacea that we're going to use for immune support is something that you can drink a few times a week. You don't have to, I wouldn't drink that one like immediately when you're sick. You can, but it's not as strong. The second one is the echinacea angustifolia. That's the one that you want to take whenever it's your fever or your flu is in full effect. The next one is Chaaka. Chaaka is a field mint. It's a wild field mint that we have on our prairies. So a lot of us are very familiar with Chaaka. That's something that we can drink every day if we need to. It supports our digestion and it adds a refreshing mint flavor. So it helps with the digestive tract. It helps with a lot of stomach problems and things like that. The next one, I like to call it a multivitamin. So it's nettles, stinging nettles. There is so much, you can go down a rabbit hole of information if you look up the benefits of stinging nettles. So that's something that we're going to be using today. The next slide. Dandelion root. It is a gentle detox and liver support. So whenever we're putting things in our bodies, we want to make sure that we're actually doing some natural cleansings. And whenever we're consuming a lot of these medicines, we want something that's going to push that through. So we want to make sure that we're getting that dandelion root in there. The next one is ginger. It's circulating and boosting. It's actually anti-inflammatory. We'll talk more about how to boost that in a little bit. Lemon, vitamin C for immune health. We all like lemon in tea, so we always have to make sure that no matter what we have, what type of tea we have, try to put some lemons in there. Lead plant. This is another medicinal plant that is traditionally used for respiratory support. So what I mean by that is like it's a decongestant. So I have some here, and I believe they call it a lot of different things, but it's lead plant. It's used for your cough, chest congestion, and mucus. So this is something that you can find on the prairie. You can see that purple flower there. If you see those little tiny leaves there, those are the leaves that you want to get from this. You'll see that growing everywhere in South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, in the surrounding areas. You'll see this. This is very, very abundant in the prairies. So this is something that you can use whenever you need immediate support. The next one I'm going to talk about is elderberry. Elderberry grows abundantly the next slide, sorry. Elderberries, they grow abundantly in our area, the Minnesota area, the North Dakota area. So I have them here. They dry to these little small berries. They smell like raisins. They're for to shorten colds and flu. This is something that you want to put into your immediate blend. And then last but not least, I have this little guy here. This is cayenne pepper. It contains capsaicin, which stimulates blood flow. So what this does is that you don't need a lot of it. You just want to make sure that you just put a little dash in your teapot. So that way, whatever medicines that you're using, it carries them to those cells faster and actually more beneficial. So anytime you're drinking medicinal teas, you can use black pepper too. Black pepper has capsaicin in it too. So I just do a little dash of cayenne pepper. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the antioxidant tea. This is with frozen berries. So I don't put anything else in there. Sometimes I'll drop a little nettles. Like I said, stinging nettles are like a multivitamin. So I will drop some of this in there. So what you want to do is you want to grab a bag of frozen dark berries. So I like to go to Walmart and get this particular blend. And so you can get the recipe is on there. So 2 cups of frozen berries, 4 cups of water, 1 to 2 slices of fresh ginger, teaspoon of honey if you want honey in there. Sometimes they're sweet enough. It just depends on your taste buds. So, and 1 cinnamon stick. So what you want to do is you can cool this down. So it's essentially nature's Kool-Aid. So that's something that you can give your kids every day. This is something that you can drink every single day. So you don't have to worry about it your body being overloaded with it. So I do have some now. So I do have some ready right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it in a cup and I will show you what that looks like. So this is warm. Ideally, if you're giving it to kids, it's totally fine if you cool it down. Like I said, this is nature's Kool-Aid, so it's a little fun. They can actually put other fruits in there that they want, but the dark berries is what you're looking for. And the color may be a little different in the picture on there because I actually put some dragon fruit in that one, so it made it a little more purple. So just depending on what you're using. And then after it cools down, if you let it cool for a while, it actually tastes very, very good. So I encourage everybody to go get a big bag of frozen fruit and keep that within your diet all winter long. This is what it looks like. You can drink this hot, you can add some mint in there. You can add pretty much whatever sweetener you want. So a lot of people will make it festive during the holidays and they'll actually put a lot of like nutmeg and cinnamon sticks and things like that. I think there's even a recipe going viral online about boiling this and making your house smell good. So it makes your house smell really, really good. So with the with this, it fights free radicals, supports immune health, and reduces inflammation. So again, I want to encourage everybody to drink that antioxidant blend daily if possible. We can move on to the next slide. All right, so this one is going to be for the immune support. And then we want to make sure that I didn't have a lot of jars for I have so much teaca all the gatherers. If you're out there, you know what I'm talking about. We gather so much every year. And I end up, when I put them in jars, I end up giving them away. So it's pretty sought after. So if you have something similar to like a grounder like this, I encourage you to loosen up some of the oils that are in the dried ingredients, loosen them up. You don't have to grind them completely, but you do want to loosen them up a little bit before you put them in there. So we'll start with 1 teaspoon of field mint. So I can kind of show you what this looks like. Usually I'll grind mine down. I'll show you that in a minute, but it might get too loud. But you don't want to grind them or you don't want to powder them and store them. That's another thing. So you don't want to powder them and store them. You want to make sure that you're doing it right when you're gonna drink the tea. So they look like, oops, yeah. So when they're dried, they look like this. This is Chiaka. They like to have their feet wet. So if you're out gathering, you can find them by streams. You can find them by water, anywhere, and you'll smell them. You'll just know once you're walking around in that area where they are. And I wish I had another picture of another plant. It's very similar to it, but people like to confuse it with catnip. So there's two different ones. They smell a little similar, but once you start to harvest or gather chiapa a lot more, you'll be able to tell the difference. So again, we want to get a little bit of the chiaka in there. And you can grind them all together. You don't have to do one at a time, but I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. But you want to make sure that you are grinding this up. At least just a little bit, just enough to where you're going to release some of those oils in there. So just like that. I'll pour them in my pot here. And then the next one, we're going to go for Echinacea purpurea. And this one is for immune support. It can prevent and shorten a cold. However, this one you can drink more often. You don't have to drink this one whenever you're sick right now. You can drink this one for just immune support in general. So we want to go with 1 teaspoon. This is a tablespoon, but be a little generous with that one. And again, you grind this up. You can grind them all up. You can make your own tea blend. A lot of the other shows that we do, we put together some tea blends and then we actually give them up to the participants. I wish we could do that today, but we're online. Just release some of the oils in that. Drop that in. I'll show you an easier way of doing that as well. The next one we're gonna do is the multivitamin. And again, this is for immune support. This is something that you can drink several times a week. And this is one of the teas that I live by. And I tell everybody that we need to live like this. We can't just go be running for these teas only when we're sick. We have to drink this at least, I want to say at least 2-3 times a week is good. Every day it might get a little difficult. Again, 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of nettles. While that's boiling, this one up. And then the next one, we're gonna go with the dandelion root. Now, dandelion root, when it dries, this is a little more difficult to grind up. So it has a different texture here. So it almost looks like, a root. So it looks like little pieces of wood. So we want to grind that one up as well. This is one of my favorite ones to put in a coffee grinder. It's kind of messy because you can tell I use that every single day. Powdering things is actually really good because it lessens the boil time. The boil time that you have to when you do fresh herbs, you actually have to simmer for a while. The recipe says for 10 minutes, but I would have let it go for 15. Or turn it off and cover it for 15. So it's a little more difficult to do these ones with one of these. I would put them in a coffee grinder or just do it like this. But if you don't have anything like this, go ahead and put them in there, but make sure that it boils for at least 20 to 25 minutes. You just have to boil them. Okay, so now we're gonna go with the fresh ginger. So I know ginger is accessible in a lot of places. There is ginger powder, which I forgot. So I am going to cut a piece of ginger. And then so you can prepare ginger any which way you want. Some people will leave the bark on the ginger so that way they can get the nutrients that are in that bark. However, some people they don't prefer it. So you can get a spoon and then you can peel it like this because ginger is a little hard to peel. But you can peel your ginger just like this. It's easier with the spoon, so you don't have to worry about cutting yourself just because of the texture of the ginger. You just want to put a few. You don't want to use too much of the ginger. The only reason why is because it's a little, it's a little strong. Because you are gonna add lemon in there. It says in the recipe I put on there, it's like 2. You don't need that. I put 3. You can crush these up as well. You can dehydrate these and make your own powder. You can do a lot with this ginger. Usually I'm interacting if Everett's there to interact with me, but I think we have a little sound issue that might be echoing back and forth. For the dead air, so I apologize for that. And then now we're gonna go with the pinch of cayenne. Oh, my lemon, sorry. We have to put a little bit of lemon in there. I'd like to just take the top off like this and then just squeeze it in there. And then you don't need to go any further than that if you don't want to. But it's always fun to just take a little lemon slice. Take a little lemon slice and then put it inside of the tea. So again, after you grind all of that up, you want to make sure that you put at least some black pepper or cayenne pepper in there. That again, this is capsaicin. It helps the herbs run through your system, your lymph nodes, your blood, your cells, everything. So it just basically gives it a ride. So that is the immune support tea. That is, so whenever we talk about the immune support tea, we like to talk about how often we can drink them. It is safe for daily use. You don't have to worry about it hurting your stomach or anything like that, as long as you're not drinking it excessively. So the next one we are going to go for is the immediate support. So this tea is for when you're sick right now. You have somebody that's coughing, they're congested. We all know what that looks like when our kids and our family has, pneumonia or the flu or something like that. So this is that tea. This is that tea you want to run for. So again, we're going to demonstrate this, and we're going to start with a tablespoon of elderberries. So I really want to get in close with this one. I'm going to do about a tablespoon. About a tablespoon of elderberries. So this is, again, this one is for immune support, and it's antiviral and antibacterial. So this is something that's very, very strong. Again, if you're going to harvest them and gather them, it is found abundantly in South Dakota in the northern plains. And if you don't have one of these, again, don't worry about it. If you don't have a grinder, you don't have to worry about it. Just make sure that you're boiling them longer, 20 to 25 minutes. And make sure you cover it and let it sit for about 5 minutes before you consume. So then the next one we're gonna go with is the other echinacea that I was talking about. This is a stronger, medicinal plant. It's called Echinacea angustifolia. I can't even say the word. Angustifolia. So this one is very, very strong. It's actually antibacterial. So this is, if you're gonna order this one is a little more expensive, but it is worth it. So I would actually make sure I get this one. You can actually buy them in the commercialized teas, the Echinacea tea bags at the grocery store as well. So this one is gonna call for another tablespoon. Again, this one has, if you look at the difference between this echinacea and the other one that I used for immune support, This one contains a lot of the leaves, the stem, and the flower in it. So this one is like the upper part of it, the exposed part of the plant. And this one is the root. So that's why it looks like a bunch of little wood chunks in there. So this is the root. This one is very strong. So if you ever see echinacea, I'm sure you'll see them. They're all over the place on the prairie. So you can get those and dig those up and dry them. You can mix them too, so you can use them as you want, but you want to make sure that you only use this one when you're sick. Okay. And when you grind, you don't have to make, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be enough to release some of the medicinal properties in there. And then again, I like to add chiaka into this just so the medicine has a smooth ride through your belly and your digestive tract. And then again, if you're not feeling well and your stomach's hurting while you're sick, something like that, or you're going to like when you have nausea and stuff like that, this chiaka will help with all of that. We want to get a good amount of this in there, so you can just smell this bag too. And you just you don't have to grind it perfectly. Make sure that you do it enough. Okay, now this next one, this next herb that I'm going to put out here, this is the lead plant. So this lead plant is traditionally used for respiratory support. So if you have congestion, you have, your kids are having this, you hear that sound, it helps with mucus as well. So you'll be able to drink this tea and you're going to be coughing up all that stuff. So that's why this tea shouldn't be drank every single day, mainly when you're sick. I know they have the other plants like Mullein and they have other ones too, but this is my go-to. That one is very good for immune support too. I just don't have any, otherwise I would have used it. But this one is my go-to. So lead plant is grown everywhere on the prairie in our area. It's very abundant. So when you find it, you get some. Again, we're gonna go for another teaspoon of this. I think they called it bird tea at one time. Yeah, I think that's what it was called. But she just call it lead plant. So that's what I call it, because it's easier to find if you Google lead plant. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. You can put them all in there and grind them up just to make the process faster. And then I'll show you a faster way. And then again, we're gonna do this again. We're gonna do ginger. But we're gonna do another slice of ginger. And we're going to do another slice of lemon as well. And then you can just use a spoon. It's easier to peel. You don't have to use a knife. I would not use a knife on this. Use a knife, you're just cutting yourself. You might be able to use a peeler too. I've never used one. Just a peeler. And you just need a few slices of the ginger. You can ground it up as well. You can cut it up. Yeah, lemon. I'm gonna put a slice in there and then I'm gonna squeeze some lemon just some. Now we have the cayenne pepper. This is the other one. So again, you want to make sure that you have some black pepper on hand, some cayenne pepper because it has capsaicin. It's going to help this work even better. So you just want to dash. You don't want to put a lot of it in there because otherwise it'd be spicy. If you like it spicy, like me, I put a lot in there. So that's up to you. So again, we're going to wait for those to get done. And while we're doing that, I am going to grind some up so I can show you what that looks like. And then you can, you'll be able to put a new recipe on it. So this recipe, it costs elderberries again, and then we can grind those, I'm not gonna grind the elderberries right now, but if you want to do it this way, this will shorten your boiling time. Again, if you're gonna just if you're just gonna boil the herbs and you don't have a grinder and you don't have one of these kind of grinders or anything like that, you'll have to boil them for about 20 to 25 minutes. But all the same ingredients are going in there that's on the recipe. Let's see. Having a coffee grinder, I think I bought this for like $10 at Walmart a few years ago and I still have it. So probably need a new one, but I tend to run things out until they don't work no more. All right, so this might get a little loud. Sometimes you want to just leave it there so that dust can settle because that dust is gold. So you want to make sure that settles first before you go dumping that in there. So now that condensed down into about, I'd say maybe about a good 2 to 3 tablespoons of medicine. So this right here is something that you do want to boil within for about 5 minutes. You don't need to boil this very long. You can actually use one of your teapots, and this is something that you want to put in your cup. You don't want to strain it. This is all medicine here. You want to consume all of that as well. So this is a little easier to do if you have one of these. This is awesome. And it shortens all the time too. So all the time it took me to do all of this, I could have just did that and then made a 4-cup pot. So it does make a lot. So you'll be able to drink that tea all day long from just this one cup. And we have our immune support tea that is just about finished here. So I'm going to put that into. Again, if you boil it longer, this isn't going on a rolling boil either. So the longer, the better. And then you do want to consume all of the stuff in there, all of the medicines. Make sure that you're consuming those. Don't strain them. A lot of people do like to strain them because it's a texture thing for them, and that's fine. That's totally fine, but I really recommend taking all of this. It's a little hot. So yes, this is what it looks like. So it's actually very tasty. So you can sweeten it with honey. You can actually sweeten it with, don't recommend sugar, but if you like sugar, if that's what you have, go ahead and do that. Or some people just like it like this and they'll just slam it like the immune shot. So that works too. And then the other one, that one's almost done. This is the immediate support tea, which I think it needs to finish a little bit because the longer it boils, the darker it gets. So I like to leave them in there for a while, but I just want to just show you guys how dark it is. Maybe from the elderberries. And here is this is the medicinal tea. This is the tea the immediate support tea. So this is the tea that you drink whenever you're sick right now. We can go ahead and, oh wait, let me see if there's any more slides on here. Nope, that's it. But thank you, Kilome. Thank you for having me. We'll be able to take some questions right now if you have any.
Yes, thank you for that. That was really interesting. I got to tell you that as long as you've been helping us out here in our good health and wellness, I've learned a lot from you personally. And I've been trying to incorporate some of the knowledge that you shared with us into my daily life. So I do find it inspiring and it makes me think because those are the type of things that I've gone through life without thinking about, especially when you talked about the color of the fruits and how that impacts your mood and I really took a lot of that in. And so now I try to incorporate fruit into my meals. So, yeah, what you're doing, I feel is working. So, thank you once again for coming through for us. We always love to have you. Right now, we do have some questions here. So, I'm going to read a few of them off here, maybe five. So, one of the questions that pops up is so what is that you grind on the Oh my goodness, I'm having trouble pronouncing these words, but Echinacea tea, root plant, etc. So it says, so what is that you grind on the Echinacea tea?
The
Are,
echinacea.
are they asking what
Yeah, what do you grind? What do you grind on it is what they're asking. So I'm not sure if it's the tools you're using or
I
that
think
could be.
Malai, they're asking, do you grind the root or the plant or
Okay.
all of it?
Okay. So again, the Echinacea purpurea, that's purpurea. It's really hard to say the scientific terms. So again, this one is for immune support. This is the Echinacea that you'll use for use whenever you're just drinking, you're just trying to keep your immunity up. And you drink tea a few times a week or once a week. This one is the upper part of the plant, the exposed plant. So that includes the flower, that includes the leaves and the stem. So this is for immune support. That one is called Echinacea purpurea. So that is in the slides too. If I don't know if we might have to email those slides out or something. And then the other Echinacea is the Echinacea that's stronger. So we have Echinacea purpurea and Echinacea angustifolia. So this one is the roots. This one looks way different. This one has looks more of like little pieces of wood because it is a root. So there's two different ones. So this one is for immediate support whenever you are sick right now. That's what this one is for.
All right. Thank you for the explanation. Also to note that once you close out the Zoom here, there'll be a survey right at the end of closing. So if you can, please fill that out for us. We greatly appreciate it. So this other question we're going to move on to is question on your teas. Can you use lemon to add flavor to all teas or only certain teas?
The flavor pretty much. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can use it to enhance the flavor of any tea. It is a vitamin C source, so yeah, it's good for flavor and also it's good for you. So
Okay. And the follow-up was in place of sugar, is honey acceptable to sweeten?
of course, yes.
Okay.
I actually like stevia. Stevia is something that I grow in my garden every year. Stevia is something that it's safe for diabetics. It's actually a really good plant to have fresh. I never really tried the commercialized one, the packets that they sell at the store. They're probably good. I just never looked into them. But the plants that you grow at home, those are the sweetener that I do like.
Can you recommend online sites to purchase some of the local plants?
Yeah, I was actually gonna list a few on here, but I wanted to see if there was anybody in the audience that knows of some herbal gatherers, some indigenous ones that they might want to tag in the comments. Because I know there's quite a few. There's one in Rosebud, I believe, or maybe a couple in Rosebud. Of course, they do have the healthy food stores here in Rapid City that you can go and purchase things from. But I recommend looking into your local gatherers in your area. So you'll see them, they're selling them on the marketplace, you know. They have a lot of small businesses, so I would go for the indigenous gatherers and the harvesters of this.
All right. Says cayenne pepper helps you absorb medicines in tea.
Yes, it contains capsaicin. So capsaicin runs through your blood, your lymph node systems. It helps to get things into the cell a lot quicker. So I mean, you can consume all the teas you want. There'll be a support that they're good to go through. But then once you add cayenne pepper or black pepper, that capsaicin actually gives them a ride into your cells and into your bloodstream and into your lymph node systems.
Okay, awesome. Last question. Do you dry your stevia plants or use fresh?
It depends. Sometimes I'll just eat them, but yeah, you shouldn't do that a lot. But yeah, I'll dry most of them and then I just put them in a jar.
Yeah, awesome. All right, I got a question for you. So, what inspires you to do what you do?
So what inspired me in the beginning was mainly because I didn't have a ride to get to the store. Didn't really have a ride to do a lot of things. So when harvesting season came, I said, well, you know, I better grab whatever I can because I lived so far out in the country. We had not a lot of gas in the car. We had to save the gas for work, you know, things like that. Like I said in the beginning of the webinar, that a lot of my inspiration and my purpose came from survival. So that's what inspires me and it inspires me now. So I want to make sure that everybody has that opportunity to have immune support so they don't have to be running for a lot of the expensive things out there that, you know, that can help boost your immunity. We can do this right here and we can gather them every spring and summer and have them all winter.
Right. That's really great that you're able to do this as from using your knowledge and your knowledge of the land to obtain all these because it's so easy to go to any store and just grab whatever off the shelf. And it has more meaning when you actually go out, you know, the teachings behind that, the cultural component of it. That's such a beautiful thing that you're doing. So we thank you yet again for coming on and you got any final comments?
Yeah, so I just want to leave you guys in a good way. I want to make sure to encourage everyone to get out there this spring. And right now during the winter time where not a lot of this medicine is growing right now, I encourage everybody to support your local gatherers. There's a lot of we have a lot of gatherers out there. I see them all over social media. They are gathering elderberries, they're making cider, they're making fire cider for the COVID season. That's one thing I didn't mention in here because it is a little more complex. So that's for the more advanced people. I like to learn from them. They're awesome. I like to listen to all of that stuff. So my recipes are a little more basic, but I encourage everybody to support your local gatherers by purchasing these items from them or trading, do some horse trading with them. A lot of them I like to trade for coffee. So if you'd like to do that, that's great. And then in the springtime, get out there. There's no wrong way of doing things. Don't worry about anybody discouraging you from harvesting or gathering our plants the wrong way. We all started somewhere. We're all gonna make sure that we have this type of how would I say this? Immune sovereignty.
Wahoo. Well, that's really good. That's awesome. All right, we're going to get ready to conclude here. I just want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in. I believe we're live on Facebook too, so big thank you to them for chiming in and being a part of our special series today. Once again, once we close out this Zoom, you'll be their survey will be waiting for you. So if you can fill that out for us. So keep us in mind, good health and wellness here at the Great Plains Health Board. We have plenty of content that's coming your way. We have other episodes regarding our podcast series. So just want everybody to stay tuned to our Great Plains Health Board. We got plenty of events there in the Rapid City area, as well as other areas in the Great Plains. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great and blessed day.